Well, actually, before I ask my question, I should give a bit of a background of who I am. Sadly, I'm not old enough to vote yet. I'm 15 and a half, so I got 2.5 years left. Well, I think about last summer, I saw the massive support that like Bernie Sanders was getting from young people, and I thought, oh, you know, I should kind of get on board too, because he's saying a lot of stuff. And I think later last year, I really started to realize just how mean-spirited and really just how similar it is to the Trump campaign, about how much they slander former Vice President Biden, Senator Warren, and even you, even comparing you very unreasonably to Ted Cruz. So with kind of the kind of leading up to the caucus, I'm actually not from Iowa. I'm from Indiana, so that's not from South Bend. We actually live in Carmel. Why should people who are really kind of leaning towards Bernie's Medicare for All message listen to you, especially with how much misinformation his campaign puts out about moderate Democrats?
Well, first of all, you sound pretty dialed in for somebody not yet old enough to vote. And here's my message to progressives. It's that I would be the most progressive president we've had in a half century. It's just that I don't measure the boldness of an idea by how many people it puts off and how much controversy it generates. Look, what I'm trying to do to healthcare, we call it Medicare for all who want it. It'd be the biggest thing we've done since the invention of Medicare itself. We're talking about creating a version of Medicare, a public plan, that everybody can get in on. The difference is the way I'm doing it, it trusts you to decide whether you want it. Because I think there needs to be a little humility in the policy. And rather than assuming that we can throw a switch and everybody will want to be on my plan, or even assuming that we can set a certain number of years and have a countdown and then everybody's going to want the plan, right? Let people figure out for themselves. So it's a real difference. It's an important difference in the design of our policies, for sure. But if what we're focusing on is how it affects our everyday lives, it solves the problem with less money and I think a lot less heartburn. And so on all of these issues, I think our values are lined up. Our goals are lined up. What I'm talking about means there's no such thing as an uninsured American. It's just a different way to get there. And I get that in the heat of competition, stones are being thrown and it'll probably get sharper as we go. And to be honest, you should know that among the candidates, we get along pretty well, even if we get a little hot under the collar sometimes on stage. But all right. Carl, is that you? But also often our respective supporters get really fired up. And mostly fired up, I think, for a good reason. I mean, we ought to be passionate. Shame on us if we're not passionate. But also shame on us if we ever forget that we're part of the same team here. We know it's why I refer to the others not as opponents, but as competitors. Because one day we're going to be coming together, we've got to come together around our actual opponent, who is the President of the United States. And when we do, we've always got to remember, we know what we're up against, and it isn't each other. It's why on those rules of the road we put out for our campaign volunteers and supporters and everybody to follow, it's kind of a statement of values of what this campaign believes on. It's on your t-shirt right there. So the top one, first one, is respect. And that doesn't just mean respect for voters and caucus goers and other Americans that we meet. It means respect for our competitors. And my hope is that even in the heat of competition, as we're laying out the contrasts, and we are, and it's our job to, because we're competing, but we do it in the spirit of recognizing that we're all trying to pull in the same general place. And my hope is that folks who are fired up about the issues take a look at what I will actually do to make their lives better and the importance of doing it in a way that's going to unify the country. In other words, let's not choose between boldness and unity. Let's not choose between the right way to govern and the best way to win. I'm arguing that in order to get any one of those things right, we've got to get all those things right. And of course, I'm arguing that this campaign is the full package. So thanks for your attraction to this campaign, and I hope you'll share the word.